What a beautiful day. Soaking in the sun, enjoying a nice cool drink. There isn't really anything quite like it. Summertime is beach time, and while I may not have a beach in my backyard, I can still sit back, listen to some relaxing tunes, and enjoy the Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna go inside and play video games like usual. Video games, the primary medium for people who want to experience things without going outside their own home or interacting with others. Of course, games are chock full of death-defying thrills, intense battles, and NPCs to either marry or obliterate. But among all the chaos and adventure, there's plenty of room for some much-needed levity every now and then, just like real life. Enter the beach level. Everyone knows it's not a true anime without a beach episode. Beach levels are the best. Beaches in general are the best, but beach levels in games are consistently some of my favorites. Even though the beach is such an inherently pleasant thing, there's never a guarantee that translating them into games will make for something equally enjoyable. I mean, you've got two of my least favorite level themes in games combined into one, desert and water levels. But oddly enough, more often than not, beach levels seem to eliminate most of the problems I have with both of them, making for unique, fun, and often relaxing experiences. So what is it specifically about virtual beaches that make them so enjoyable to visit? Well, for one thing, they've usually got a much more laid-back atmosphere. When you think of the beach, what typically comes to mind? Sure, maybe you're a party animal and are planning to get out there, drink as much as possible, and bury whatever comes out of you in the sand afterwards. But if you're like me, you're probably just sitting in a chair, eyes closed, listening to the waves, and forgetting about the responsibilities you've got lined up once you leave. And just like real life, video game beaches are perfect for taking the edge off and giving the player a moment to breathe. Sure, some of them may have chaotic challenges for you to take on when you arrive, but once that's taken care of, it's not uncommon for games to just let you hang around and relax, with many games even allowing players to plop their characters in a lounge chair to take a break from their hard work. Blob 2 starts out with a beach level, a perfect setting for a tutorial that's weirdly very rarely used for them. Starting on a beach allows the game to begin with a very laid-back atmosphere while it introduces the player to the core mechanics, and only once you've got your bearings does it blast you off to the game's gloomier main setting. Conversely, Mario Odyssey's beach level starts a little more chaotic, but after you've defeated the main boss of the world, the sky changes to a beautiful sunset, and the music becomes a perfect tune to just lie in the sand and take a much-deserved nap to. And now that we're on the subject, music also plays a big role in making digital beaches such pleasant environments. I know I've gone on at this point about how relaxation plays a big role in the atmosphere of many beach levels, but even when you're exploring and taking on challenges like you would in a normal level, the tunes backing it up can instill a great sense of bounciness and fun to an already inherently fun setting. Steel drums, acoustic guitars, and various wind and string instruments coming together to create the vibe of an island setting is almost always a recipe for success. And many of my favorite songs in all of gaming come from beach levels, especially from the Mario series, but we'll spend more time on that soon enough. In true Trenary video fashion, here's a sampling of some of my favorite beach level themes that hopefully won't get me in trouble with YouTube's copyright system. And of course, the main thing that makes any level fun to play is the gameplay. Exploration, extra activities, and so on. And like I said earlier, beach levels combine elements of two of my least favorite level types in games, but they do it in a way that makes them actually fun to explore. Desert levels can be fun sometimes when you've got temples or ruins to discover, but vast oceans of sand just aren't usually my favorite visually. It creates the sense that my character is constantly uncomfortable because of the heat, and if they take forever to get across the desert, the sense of exhaustion is at the forefront of the experience. Sometimes that's the point of it, but more often than not, it just makes exploring a bit of a slog, at least in my opinion. So, how do you make an ocean of sand better? Put an actual ocean on top of it. Now the existing sand isn't a chore to explore, and the characters got something to cool them off right next to them if needed. Plus, beach levels are usually much closer to civilization, ridding the level of that feeling that you're stranded in the middle of nowhere and could collapse from heat stroke at any moment. On the flip side, water levels are often plagued with slow movement, darkness, and limited breath mechanics. But since you're right by land at a beach level, not only are you given sunlight to illuminate much of the underwater sections, but you've also typically got a vehicle or something you can use to traverse the water in a much faster and more fun way. Sometimes beach levels also incorporate extra elements as the cherry on top, making exploring these environments even more exciting when you aren't just kicking back on the shoreline. These can range from treasure hunting elements, straight up pirate theming, or adding an additional level of atmosphere with mysterious undersea areas, which in Mario's case, are often populated with the most terrifying eels I've ever seen. Now, I've talked at length about all the things that make beach levels great, and I've used plenty of examples from Mario games thus far, because honestly, no one does a beach level quite like Mario. And it may seem obvious that I've been leading to this by now, but nowhere is this more apparent than in Super Mario Sunshine. Nintendo looked at beach levels and fell so in love that they decided to make a whole game exclusively of tropical-themed levels, and I absolutely love it. Sure, this may seem to go against some of the points I made earlier about beach levels serving as levity from the rest of the game or setting themselves apart from other themes. And especially in a series like Mario, where most of the games have wildly varying themes throughout the adventure, keeping to a tropical theme for the entire experience may seem like it would get redundant. The thing is though, it really doesn't. Nintendo was very good about making sure that despite the consistency in theming rarely seen in other Mario games, each level felt unique from the others, and just like Mario Odyssey, many levels have chaotic moments to overcome before the relaxed atmosphere kicks back in. It's really interesting to look back at this game as a sort of experiment in more consistent theming in the Mario series, and if they were going to stick to one theme the whole time, I'm really glad it was beaches. Exploring a tropical island, especially with some killer music and fun movement, just never gets old to me, and Mario has always done it the best out of anyone. Similar to how Luigi's Mansion is the perfect game for Halloween time for me, Mario Sunshine is the perfect game for summertime. Or for when you're just desperately waiting for summer to return. You know, maybe I'm just biased because I grew up in Florida. I've always loved the beach in summertime, so it stands to reason that I'd enjoy visiting beaches in video games too. But given how pleasant and relaxing visiting virtual shores can be, I feel like it's hard to argue against them being a consistently great level theme. So if you're one of the many people who don't happen to live alongside the ocean, boot up one of your favorite games tonight. And before you run off to save the universe or whatever, take a moment to stop by the ocean, take a breath, and stare out to the pixelated horizon. I really regret turning my heater on for this.